Good evening, everyone. We are being recorded. My name is Mike Panessa. I'm the chair of the Administrative Appeals Board. I hereby call the regular meeting of the Administrative Appeals Board of May 24th, 2023 to order. Board Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Board Member Vasily.
Here.
Board Member Sinclair.
Here.
Vice Chair Kane. Here. And Chairperson.
Here.
Board members present.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the acceptance of the agenda. The board can discuss and may amend the order of the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion and a second for acceptance of the agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Board Secretary. Could you take the vote?
Board Member Sinclair.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kane. Aye. Board Member Vasily.
Aye.
Chair Panessa.
Aye.
Passes 4-0.
Thank you. Next item is public comment. This time is set aside for members of the public to address the board on items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of this board. 3 minutes will be assigned to any speaker, and although the board does value your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, the board generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. Testimony for hearings will only be taken at the time of each hearing. Board Secretary, can you open the public comment period, please?
We do not have any open public speakers.
Okay, then we're going to dive in. Next item on the agenda is number 3. Concerns the property at 191 at the Riv. It is an appeal of the $5,000 fine and the administrative decision that Lauren Schwartz is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, could you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand that their testimony is under oath?
We do have signed affidavits from city staff in person. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And the appellant is on Zoom.
Okay, great. Thank you. Staff, can you please present your report?
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, city staff, residents, joining us today. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance. We oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you this afternoon is a staff report regarding the property located at 191 The Riv here in Palm Springs. It was found that this property was in violation of Municipal Code 5.25040A on the date of February 12th, 2023. In the staff report includes elements that led to the violation and the findings that were found by code compliance officers. Code compliance officer Whitaker is here this afternoon to provide further testimony regarding the investigation and what led to the issuance of the citation. And I would invite code officer to the front for testimony. Thank you.
You can start by saying your name, please.
Sure. So my name is Jason Whitaker. I'm a code compliance officer with the city of Palm Springs. Just want to say good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff, members of the public in attendance for tonight's hearing. On Sunday, February 12th, 2023, while conducting a review of available rental listings on the web-based platform Airbnb.com, I came across an advertisement in the Vista Norte neighborhood of Palm Springs titled Harbors at the Riv, downtown Palm Springs, which can be found in attachment 5 of the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that the entire 2-bedroom condo was being offered for up to 6 guests. I was unable to find a city ID number on the advertisement as required for a registered vacation rental property, so I reviewed the photos contained within the ad, and I was able to positively identify the property address as 191 The Riv. Upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, I confirmed that the property identified did not hold a valid registration certificate. I then sent a message via Airbnb.com contact host feature, which can be found in attachment 6, inquiring about a 2-night stay arriving Thursday, March 30th, 2023, and departing the following Saturday, April 1st, 2023. My message stated, "Hi there, lovely condo, looking to book for a birthday getaway from LA for March 30th through April 1st, 2023. I wanted to see if I can bring my French Bulldog. If so, is there an extra fee? I also wanted to see if the pool and or spa are still heated in March and April. Thanks." The host Ashley responded to my inquiry with the following unique response. "Hey there, thank you so much. We do have a pet fee of $100 for the stay. If that's okay, we can send you a separate request. There is an amazing dog park in the complex that your fur baby will love. Let me check on heated during that time. It's steadily 90 degrees during that time, so I'm not sure if they will heat it or not, but I will find out." Following the message received by Ashley, I was then sent an invitation to book for the property for March 30th, 2023 through April 1st, 2023, along with the following secondary response from the host Ashley. "There definitely is a jacuzzi, though it is heated." As a result of my findings contained within the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as the host invitation to book for a 3-night stay, I found that the property located at 191 The Riv was in violation of PSMC 5.25.040A, operating a vacation rental without a registration certificate, and issued administrative citation number AB 0475 to the property owner on title Lauren Schwartz. That'll conclude what I have to present, and I'll hand it back over to Patrick.
All right, anything more from the city?
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open it up to questions from the board to the city. Let me start with Mr. Sinclair.
No questions.
Mr. Vasili
No questions.
and Vice Chair King.
Nope.
So I just have, I think one. I'm not familiar with this. Is this a complex or is this a single family?
Condo.
It's a condominium.
Okay,
complex.
and do we know, does the complex even allow short-term rentals?
I do not know.
I don't possibly know, I believe they don't, because we don't have any vacation rentals in there, but I could be wrong, didn't check it, if you're not the HOA.
Okay. All right, that I have no further questions. Thank you. Anybody else have anything for the city? No. All right, then at this time, I'd like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant will be invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who desire to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If a member of the public chooses to testify, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal for up to 2 additional minutes. Board Secretary, can you begin the public testimony period?
We can begin and Lauren is on Zoom.
Great, thank you. Lauren, go ahead if you could start by saying your name and then your 10 minutes will begin.
Sure. My name is Lauren Schwartz. I'm the owner of The Riv. I live in San Diego. I bought it about a year and a half ago when it had tenants in it. So when I bought it, I'm very new to real estate. I bought it, I was just hoping to continue to have the long-term tenants. I've sent you guys, I'm not sure, I'm just a little nervous, so I sent you guys some information for you guys to have for this. So when the lease ended with the long-term tenants, I knew I needed a management company to run this since I don't live there. So I was solicited actually by a very fancy company that wasn't based out of here, but said that they would take care of everything soup to nuts from doing the reservation to managing the reservation to managing the people to the end of it all the way through. I asked them what was needed to do this since I was new to this, and they said we've got it all under control, that they've done many houses in Palm Desert and they know how it works. So I worked with them. We had one long 4-month stay that came through, and it worked well. After that, I was actually let go from my job, and I knew that economic pressures were on me. So I asked them to be more creative. I said, can we just like do some marketing, do more creative things to get people in here? And they said, absolutely, they were going to do that. So as that time happened, within a week of us having this conversation, the Airbnb, which was run by them, was changed and the days were decreased. At that time, I was not aware of this, nor was I aware that that was an issue anyways, but I was not aware of this. So when I got the letter from the city, within like 2 weeks of us changing it, not even that, I immediately ceased all reservations. I put the Airbnb on Zoom till we got this thing settled, and I canceled any of the ones that she had. I canceled them all and sucked up the cost from Airbnb for canceling them. Had I known that this was illegal or anything in the city of Palm Springs, because I was in Palm Desert before where there wasn't an issue, I would have absolutely never done this. I never will do it again. And I'm looking for your guidance and your, what's the word? Forgiveness in doing this, because that was not my intention to be sneaky. That was not my intention to break the law. Had I known that there was a certain approach to this, I would have handled it the right way from the beginning. The people who ran the management company, who did all of this, who took ownership of it and sent you a letter taking ownership of it. And I have the emails I sent to you where they said that they're taking ownership and they did this, but they didn't show up today. So it's just me on this. So all I'm doing is saying, yes, that did happen. I obviously know it happened because I saw the letter, and immediately we canceled all reservations short term, and have been sitting sedentary since then, although I've had my kids, friends and stuff go out there, but nothing from, I'm not really using anything right now. Airbnb is on snooze. Was that 10 minutes?
No, you still have time.
Is it okay if I stop?
Certainly.
I can keep rambling on, but repeating myself, but I just want you guys to know the main points, and that this was never my intention. When I saw that letter, my heart flipping dropped. And I immediately got on her and said, we have to fix this. And supposedly she called the board, and supposedly, I don't know what was done and what wasn't. She said it was taken care of, but then another letter came out. So I know it wasn't taken care of. But the minute I got that letter, I stopped any activity. And there was, by the way, no reservations that were executed during that time. So when it was found that we were doing that, there hadn't been a reservation yet. It had just been changed the day before. So call it bad luck, call it, it is what it is, but we did have reservations for the future and they were all canceled. Now, how's my time?
You still have a
Yeah.
few minutes.
They're
You
fine.
don't need to.
Okay.
You don't need to
Yeah.
fill the time. If you're done, that's fine.
And if you
That's-
ask me, Matt, I may be forgetting things to tell you because I'm so nervous, but if you ask me some questions, maybe I can remember and answer directly on certain things.
Okay. Anything further you want to say before we go to questions?
No, you should have the emails going back and forth between them and I, where they are taking responsibility of this and saying that they did tell me that it was allowed to happen. And by the way, I'm not saying that just because of this, it's all I should have known this. Yes, I'm new to real estate. I should have known this. I should have done the research to know this, but I didn't even know or think that that was an issue. So you have the emails from them going back and forth to me. I just only put in those, what I found to be pertinent ones, and a letter from me with an overview. And then I sent you copies of all the cancellations I did and with the dates.
All right. All right, thank you. At this point, is there anybody from the public wishing to speak on this?
No.
Okay, then at this point, we will open it up to the board members to ask the appellant questions. Maybe I'll go first this time,
Sure.
which I don't typically do. So the message from Trying to put in my own password from my own iPad. So the correspondence between the compliance officer and Ashley, who's Ashley? Is she from?
Ashley was the management, supposedly the concierge company that was managing this thing from beginning to end. So I didn't see these email exchanges going back and forth between them because she was taking care of all of it.
Okay, and then my last question, I will ask you what I asked the city. Does the complex there even allow short-term rentals?
You can apply for short-term rentals.
So the complex does,
Yeah, for $1,200, you can apply.
okay,
I haven't even approached that yet. I just wanted to get through this.
okay.
Strange, funds, $1,200.
So maybe I don't want to answer for you. So what I'm interpreting from that is the complex, if you pay a fee to the complex, they allow you to do short term?
It's not a confirmed that you get it. It's just asking for permission.
She doesn't mean from the city.
No, that's from the complex. What I
Yeah,
asked.
yeah,
was
the
about
HOA
complex.
is what I'm referring to.
Okay, all right, thank
And then
you.
they sent me everything I need to do to ask for permission, and I have all the paperwork here, but I haven't done it because I wanted to clear this first.
Okay, and what you're referring to is between you and your HOA.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. I have no questions. Mr. Vasili,
No questions.
Vice Chair Kane?
Well, I guess I'm just concerned, like, Pretty Stays, is that the company?
That was they were supposed to be on the call. They're the management or / concierge company that was taking care of this from beginning to end. And they quit last week.
They quit last week, which means you're not currently in an arrangement with them.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You're not in an arrangement with them anymore. You're not in.
I guess so, yeah. Once they knew that this was, I guess, coming, they quit. And they were supposed to show too, even though that they said they were quitting, but they didn't show. I'm very disappointed, but there's nothing I can do.
Okay.
They were gonna explain why they did certain things and what their thought process was, and they were gonna do all that, but they didn't show.
Thank you.
But they said they had, when I signed up for them, one of my biggest concerns was, I'm new to this. So do you know Palm Springs, Palm Desert? Like, absolutely. We have a ton of rentals there. We know all the rules. We know everything. So I just took them for their word. And until reached that point, it seemed like they did know.
Mr. Sinclair. any
No questions.
All right, thank you. If there is no more from the appellant, the city now has an opportunity to respond to the appellant's testimony.
I have nothing further to add. I did just confirm from our vacation rental list that we had properties that were in. I did not see any in our vacation rental list. Just wanted to verify that.
All right, thank you. All right, so at this point, we'll close the public testimony period. And then this time will be set aside for the board to discuss what we have heard from the two sides. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Vasili?
Well, this has happened so many times to us, but it doesn't alleviate the problems. So as far as I'm concerned, this one is not particularly difficult.
Mr. Vasili?
I also agree with your comment as well.
I have a question, and maybe it's for attorney, just remind me in terms of like. I know that the property owner is responsible, I know that's what the code says, but did we ever get an opinion around this issue of agency?
Good afternoon, board members, Jeff Ballinger, city attorney. I'm filling in for Abe Sanchez, who's on vacation this week. I believe Abe has drafted that memo. It's still on my desk waiting review, and I believe the conclusion is that property owner is responsible, notwithstanding the fact that they contract with an agent to provide their services.
And then it's gonna be on the property owner and that agency, if they wish to pursue whatever other avenues they might.
Correct. The property owner may have some legal rights and remedies vis-a-vis the company that they contract with. You know, that's not obviously not our position to give them legal advice about that, but they may want to pursue that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say, it's super unfortunate and I'm also somewhat, concerned a tiny bit, Patrick, around this email related to what Michael Milan, I'm assuming, might have told someone about our appeals process, but I don't wanna get into this like heavy right now, but I don't want people to think somehow we're like flexible in places we're not allowed to be. Because we are really strictly confined to what we can and can't do. And we're about to do, what we typically do when we can't, suggest that there's any errors in this process. So, I just wanna you to take a look at that maybe, so that that's not kind of told to people, because we're a strict bunch, because this city is very serious. And I don't know what Palm Desert does, no idea. But if they're anything like Palm Springs, it's very, very hard to have a vacation rental here, no question.
And I know you guys have mentioned that you've seen this before. But,
So I'm sorry, this is,
oh,
the-
I'm sorry, okay.
That's all right. No,
Okay.
you're all right, but this is our time to discuss now
sorry.
what we've heard from both you and the city. So, I guess from my perspective is, as you've said, we've been down this road many times. The homeowner is not absolved. It's unfortunate when, somebody chooses a management company that says either whether they say or don't say that they understand Palm Springs rules and then don't. And unfortunately, the owner, has to bear the brunt of that. Unless there's any other comments from members of the board, I'd like to, ask for a motion and a second.
I move we uphold the fine and the penalty
The ban,
and the ban. That's kind
I have to second that.
All right, board secretary, will you call the vote, please?
Board Member Sinclair,
Aye.
Vice Chair King,
I,
Board Member Basili,
I,
and Chair Knessa.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to adopt resolution upholding.
Okay, so, Ms. Shorts, that we have upheld the fine and the ban, that does not preclude you from renting on a long-term basis. And you will get an official notification from the city, based on this hearing. All right, we're gonna move on.
Let me ask a question.
Certainly.
And you can, I think it's refreshed my memory. As you know, we've had this before where the management company perhaps doesn't do its job. Did we make a recommendation to city council that they look at this? And I remember we.
Yes,
Do you remember?
we
that?
did.
we-
Mr. Hendrick,
for,
yeah, Mr. Hendrick and I had a subcommittee, I want to say like 3 years ago. And we had recommended that in a situation like this, the first fine go, if it's a case like this where it's a management company, that the first fine go to the management company and for a particular property, and that the subsequent fines go to the owner, because ultimately it's the owner's responsibility.
Okay,
I
I just didn't remember.
don't believe that that has gone anywhere
Okay.
at this point. All right, we're gonna move on to the next item on the agenda.
So I'm
Item-
sorry, I'm sorry, a question. So you said you're gonna send a note, is it gonna tell me what to do?
Yeah, the city will send you an official notification, yes.
And what is the notification? What am I doing with that notification?
The notification will be about that the fine and the ban was upheld. And then, and how to work through that with the city.
I can send you an email with the information.
So,
Okay,
that was Cassandra, the deputy city clerk, and she said she'll reach out to you personally.
thank you so much. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.
Thank you, you too. All right, next item on the agenda concerning the property at 2812 North Auburn Court, Unit 117. This is an appeal of the $5,000 fine and administrative decision that Michelle Bogdan is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, can you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand their testimony is under oath?
We do have signed affidavits from city staff, appellant, and any other individual. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and the appellant's in person.
City staff, if you want to go ahead and, sorry,
I know,
hang on for just a second. I want to get him on the right screen. Let me see if I can do this
I can
without,
get 3 and 6, but I can't find 4.
back all the way up.
Should be in order.
yeah, he's got the agenda 3 and 6. Yeah,
Here comes Kathy.
Yes. but the expert.
So if you go here and you go to the library, all,
Oh, okay,
they're in order that way, so that should be.
all right, thanks.
All right, city staff, please continue.
Yes, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, city staff, and citizens joining us this, my name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance. We oversee the vacation home program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you this afternoon is a staff report regarding the property located at 2812 North Auburn Court, Unit 117 in Palm Springs. It was found that there was a violation of the municipal code 5.25040A on February 12th. The elements that led to the citation are included in the staff reports. Additionally, the code officer that investigated and issued the citation is here with us this afternoon. I would invite Officer Whitaker to join the panel and further provide testimony. Additionally, we issued a citation to 2812 North Auburn Court number 117, as that's the information that's provided to us by title. Code officer will provide a little bit more information of why that unit was listed. From our understanding, there's, at least with the Riverside County, there's a discrepancy as how they have their property listed in their title. I think it's supposed to be 217, but as far as our records show, it's 117 as far as the access we have, but ask the code officer to clarify that in his testimony as well. Thank you.
And before you start, let me answer a question about what you just said. Is that, whether it's 117 or 217, the ordinance applies to the owner, so that is almost doesn't affect the hearing.
That's correct. I believe there was additional information provided today. Was it a lease, the residential lease that was provided? We do in cases, this is the first time we've seen the lease today. And there has been other situations where a lease is provided to our offices for the tenant. We do issue a citation to the tenant that was operating in violation of code, and that's after confirmation of the lease. Since we did review it, we felt, one, we only got a chance to look at it today, but if we bring it to the board for a decision too, because on top of the residential lease, we did receive, we have reviews on the advertisements going back into the period where that lease was in effect, from at least from our viewpoint, where it looks like the property owners were in that conversation on the advertisement. So we have a residential lease provided that shows a tenant that we have property, as well as we have on the Airbnb ad that was provided conversation from what looks like the owner during that time that lease should have been in effect. So we wanted to bring that to just let the board review that information, make a decision, and the code officer will clarify a little bit more.
Please, because I'm confused.
Good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff, and members of the public in attendance for tonight's hearing. My name is Jason Whitaker, and I'm a code compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. On Sunday, February 12th, 2023, while conducting a review of available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com, I came across an advertisement in the Palm Springs Villas 2 community of Palm Springs titled "Lovely One-Bedroom Condo in Palm Springs," which can be found as attachment 5 in the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that the entire one-bedroom condo was being offered for up to 4 guests. I was unable to find a city ID number for the advertisement as required for a registered vacation rental property, so I reviewed the photos contained within the ad. And I was able to positively identify the property address as 2812 North Auburn Court, Unit 117. Upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, I confirmed that the property identified did not hold a vacation rental certificate. I then sent a message via the Airbnb contact host feature, which can be found in attachment number 6, inquiring about a 3-night stay arriving Monday, April 24th, 2023, and departing Thursday, April 27th, 2023. My message stated, "Hi, very cute condo, looking to book for April 24th through the 27th, and was wondering if the pool and or spa are heated in April. Are there any good restaurants within walking distance as well? Thanks." The host, which was listed as Michelle or Sammy, responded to my inquiry with the following unique response: "Yes, is heated now." After corresponding back and forth with the host referenced the pool heating, I sent another message indicating that I was having an issue with booking the requested dates of April 24th through the 27th, and subsequently was sent an invitation to book by the host, Michelle or Sammy, for those requested dates. During my investigation of the Airbnb advertisement for this property, it should be noted that I discovered 4 separate reviews that were indicative of a short-term stays at this property. The first was posted in July of 2022 by user Samantha, whose message indicated she had stayed at the property overnight. The second message was posted in April 2022 by user Yumi, whose review referenced a 2-night stay. Third review was posted in August of 2022 by user Dania, whose review indicated a weekend stay, and the last was posted in November 2022 by user Diana, whose review also indicated that they had booked for a weekend stay. This particular advertisement has since been removed from Airbnb.com. It also should be noted that during my investigation, there was some confusion regarding the address on title versus the actual address. It was determined that the unit number displayed at the condo is actually number 217. However, when searching by the APN number 669-375-020 of the property, utilizing Title Advantage as seen in attachment number 7, the recorded address on the title is shown as downstairs unit is listed as, sorry. Start over. When searching the APN number 669-375-020 of the property utilizing Title Advantage is seen in attachment number 7, the recorded address on title is shown as unit number 117. This also aligns with the city's geographical informational systems, indicating that the downstairs unit is listed as F117 and the upstairs unit is listed as 117. Furthermore, to confirm that we had located the correct address, the names of the listed owners on the information systems available to us for number 117, Michelle Bogdan, Sammy Baker, and Elias Hilo, match the name of the appellant and the host of the ad. To line up with the address stated in the title, it was decided to use this unit number to be consistent with the property record. As a result of my findings contained within the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as the host invitation to book for a 3-night stay, I found the property located at 2812 North Auburn Court. Number 117 was in violation of PSMC section 5.25.040A, operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental certificate, and issued administrative citation number AB 0474 to the property owner on title, Michelle Bogdan. So that will conclude what I have to present. I'll hand it back over to Patrick and I'm available for any questions.
And just to further add information regarding the reviews, where we were talking about the real estate lease that was provided. In October of 2022, there is a review that states that Michelle was very attentive and responsive and helpful. And then there's another review in October of 2022, stating that Michelle was a great communicator and was very accommodating with the state of Canada. Supports the reason why we wanted to bring the case further after it was even a residential lease, where the residential lease that was dated from September 1st, 2022 to another named tenant. So with that understanding, we decided not to reissue the citations to the tenant as of today and continue with the appeal. That's very all.
All right, thank you. Anything further from the city? Okay, we'll open it up to questions from the board. So if I want to make sure I understand and I'm not the only one. So I don't think it matters if they own one or both of those units, but we believe they own the unit in question based on what you saw in tax records, things like that, plus the reviews are referring or referencing one of the named people on the title.
Correct.
That's correct, and I believe what our title records show is the downstairs unit, that would be, in most cases, 117, it's F 117. In this case, the lease is title record, so the bottom floor is F 117. Top floor is considered 117 from the title records.
Okay. All right,
I'm still confused. Okay,
so why don't we open it up to the board asking questions of the city? Why don't we
Yeah.
start with Vice Chair Kane?
all right. So 117 and F117 are like up and down as far as you understand it.
From how I understand, I believe code officers as well, F 117 is the bottom
It's down
floor. And it's
on paper.
on paper.
Somehow 217 is being used.
And F 117 is not owned by the same owner, it's a different owner. Not related.
Bizarre. Okay, and now we've got a lease for a year. Right? Who's ringing? From the 1st of September. Right, for an entire year. For someone else. They're not named in any way in this scenario, correct?
That's correct. We received the residential lease
From whom?
as additional documents provided to the city clerk.
From the appellant? And in relation to giving us, telling us what does that, mean? I guess we'll find out, and maybe that's the answer, but like. What this shows me is that they have somebody theoretically leasing this property.
That's correct. It looks like according to the lease, they entered into a lease with Sarah Rodriguez.
Right. And they're also concurrently advertising, we believe, online through Airbnb. Is that right?
From the reviews, there was short-term activity during the time that this lease was in effect.
So that's where we stand.
And the terms of the lease were
A year.
September of 2022
For
till,
12 months. So whatever,
or-
a year, so 2023,
okay,
2,000 a month, just by the way.
any further questions?
No.
Mr. Vasily,
No questions.
Mr. Sinclair.
And I understand.
I think I do
Thank
as well. So, but I guess bottom line is. It was being rented short term, even though they're showing us a lease. It was being rented before that and during that, even though they're showing us a lease is your contention.
Mhm.
Is that,
That's correct.
thank you. All right, any other questions for the city? All right, then at this time, I'd like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant will be invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any member of the public who desires to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If any member of the public testifies, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal for up to 2 additional minutes. Board Secretary, could you please begin the public testimony period?
We have no registered speakers. If there's anyone on Zoom or in person that would like to speak,
So.
Is the appellant?
the appellant's in person.
Oh, okay,
But for
great.
Public
Oh.
comment, we have nobody.
Okay, then the appellant can step forward.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks again.
Sit here. Before you speak, please press the button on the mic so the light is green. State your name, and then your 10 minutes will begin.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? My name is Samuel Bakar. I'm the co-owner of the condo located at the address by but 28112 Auburn Court, unit number F217. I'm sorry for the uniform. I was at work and I have to go back to work, but that's what we do it in Palm Springs, right?
Right.
We definitely take no breaks. We work hard. So, I have some notes that I took. We learned that in the academy. So last year, my friends Elias and Michelle and we decided to buy property here in Palm Springs to investment, never for Airbnb, never intended for B&B, nor for vacation or rental. We just wanna buy something now, wait until the value goes a year or two, whatever, and sell it. So we bought that place and actually, we had it on Travel Nurse for a while. And we had it on, there is another website, my partner told me, Furnished Find, I believe. So we had it there for a while, we couldn't find the right tenant. And we found this tenant, and by name Sarah Rodriguez, who signed contract, and I believe you guys have copied it.
We did.
It was a year-long contract. And in this contract, I think the attorney will understand, and I think section 8, where that contract specifically states that tenant shall comply with all laws and ordinances of the city and rules. So they're not supposed to use it as a business, they're not supposed to rent it out, they're not allowed to do that. And it's just for them or their immediate family. And I mean, to prove to you guys that the whole purpose was not to make big bucks in the moment, because the rent was $2,000 and the mortgage and the HOAs around $1,500. So we're talking about you know, if you want to fix AC and the electricity, and we were paying for electricity, and you know how expensive it is during summertime, especially the contract was signed in September. So the intention wasn't not to make money or quick bucks. The whole idea was just to wait until the value goes up. And so anyway, we, you know, settled for less money, because when we bought it first, we say we can rent it to snowbirds for like $3,000-4,000 a season per month, but we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to go through trouble, and you know, Sarah Rodriguez, she claimed that she is part of the LGBT and community, and which is I'm a big fan of, and that's why I work here in this city. And she took advantage of this, but that's a different issue. So when we received the citation, I was couldn't believe it. So I went to Airbnb, and I think there was an advertisement, which is true, but it had so now we go back to the unit number problem. It says 117. And ma'am, I know you asked the city, they get it wrong. F is the building. So that community has a lot of buildings. They go from A, B, C, D, all the way to, I don't know, letter. But our building is F. So F is the building. And 117, 116, 114 is downstairs, 217, etc. is upstairs.
Okay.
So I personally contacted Airbnb. I said, what the heck, there is this advertisement. They said there is nothing for 217, however, there is one for 117. And that was confirmed by the paperwork you guys provided for us. So at this moment, I don't know what's going on. So I cannot talk to Airbnb, and I said, how come they have my name and my partner name as the title? They say, well, whoever can, you can put any name you want. It's not a problem, it's not a big deal. And Airbnb, all they care about is money. They will, you know, advertise whatever you want, and they let you go with it, and they don't care. And I asked if, but however, what really matters is they have an ID for the original on file, and they didn't want to give it to me because they need court order. So I'm trying to open like investigation about this, because kind of fraud or identity theft, sort of from what I can see, because when I confronted Sarah, I said, hey, have you ever advertised this place in Airbnb? She denied it, especially when she saw the citation. She said, this is underneath the unit, which is different place. which is a lot of them. If you go to that place, you find plenty of places. And so she denied, but I took a good faith of you guys' decision and I breached the contract with her. And now she's suing me for breaching the contract. That's another issue that I have to deal with. Because she keeps saying it's the wrong citation and the wrong name, and the wrong. So in my opinion, I don't know if she's doing it, somebody else using my name or my partners, I could not really confirm, ladies and gentlemen. So how long do I have?
You have another 3 minutes.
Copy that. So at this time, I breached the contract, but now she's suing me for this. And I probably, if you guys dismiss the matter, I'll just settle it with her, whatever money I can get her, and we settle it. If not, I have to take it to court because she's gonna sue me, and hopefully I can subpoena the city where, I breached the contract based on your information, although this is a different unit, totally different. Same, not even the building, we don't know what building the whole thing is, so, let me just go, this is, so, we found another tenant, and I think I provided another standard contract, the new tenant for 2.5 years, or I think 2 years. For Mark,
Do we get a note?
and I sold the place. What I learned from this experience is so easy to open Airbnb account under any name you want. They don't affirm it, they don't confirm it, they don't care. And I really don't have time and the energy to deal with this. So Michelle and I have nothing to do with this property anymore. It was sold, and I provided a new title that my name and her name was off, and it was experience, learn from it, and I don't wanna have a lot of work and a lot of things to worry about than this, Do you have any questions?
All right, anything further? You have 1 more minute?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. So this time then we will open it up to the board to ask you questions. I guess I would like to ask the first questions. Have you seen the ad that is in the city report, the Airbnb ad?
I have seen it, yes.
Are those photos from your unit?
So this is, as I mentioned, some of them yes, and some of them no. I was surprised because, as I mentioned, the place was advertised in the past in furnished, what do you call it again? Finder and Travel Nurse. So those photos, they were there, and I think it's still there. If you look for it, probably still the ad there and with the photos. So photos could be stolen, could be photocopied, could be, but there is some photos I will say yes and some no. It's kind of different. I never even recognized you. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sinclair, questions for the appellant?
So is it still a mystery who was renting the apartment and whether it was rented at all? I mean, we have reviews saying, I think that it was rented, but we have no idea who got the money from the rentals.
One more time, the question.
Do you know who got the money from the rentals that were done with that condo unit?
So from Sarah Rodriguez, we were receiving the rental.
No, but for the
No.
Airbnb
I have
rentals,
no idea about the Airbnb.
we
That's
never
my
know who
point.
got the money.
Like,
So-
I have no idea who advertised it, who was running it. I don't know if it's the right unit again, because it says 117, which is downstairs and different building.
So it's
So-
conjecture as to whether she was renting it and taking the money.
Yeah, that's why I reached the contract with her, because it's still under investigation. I'm trying to really get the bottom to it, but
Yeah.
apparently that's what's going on.
Okay.
It was her.
Okay.
You're saying it was her?
Because I
If it
know-
was, I have no
because
If
idea.
it was her,
So
okay,
the only way I will find out, sir, is by reaching out to Airbnb and find, but this is gonna be through court and
Mhm.
subpoena. I think the attorney agreed with me, right, sir? Like, this is confidential information, IDs and social. So,
and
No, it's all I have.
it's Mr. Vasily.
Kind of crazy. You can steal someone's ID, but you can't find out who took it. Yeah, to me, this is very difficult to even respond to. Because,
Questions for the appellant, though.
but.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I don't think I have any other questions. I think everyone asked them. We don't know if you have no idea whether or not your tenant
exactly,
Was
however, I
using your
mean,
name.
I can help you guys out. We can go after her, although she's not residing in that anymore because, you know, I finished the contract and I told her to leave and she left. I have her forwarded address. We know where she at. We decide to go after her because again, there is a lawsuit now. So I have to still deal with her
Okay.
for the breaching the contract.
So I just wanna be super clear, so while you still owned it,
Yes, ma'am.
you re-rented it to someone else.
Correct, that's the whole idea. We
And
bought
that-
this place here.
And then you have since sold the property. Correct?
Correct,
So you sold it with a tenant in it,
but the new
not
tenant.
that, the new tenant.
Yes, ma'am.
You sold it with a new tenant in it. So someone else now owns a piece of property,
Yes, ma'am.
whether it's 117F, 217, whatever it is.
No,
It doesn't
I
matter.
have to be specific. It's unit F 217
Got it.
because.
Because the Riverside County has a problem. But you don't own it anymore.
Not at the moment. After the whole thing,
Sure, no,
yeah.
I got you. I just wanted to be clear.
That's why you provided today. I'm sorry, it was a little late, but
Where we-
the new deed.
We got it. We don't need that. We got it.
Thank
I
you.
think, because relative to our decision, right, is only sort of what to do right here and now on this particular issue of our violation of our code.
Yes, ma'am.
So, hey, I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Okay, so when did you buy the unit?
We bought it, I think, sometimes last year. It was 2021, I believe. No, I'm sorry, 2022. It's around there, like it's been a year.
That's a big window. Help me,
Um,
I would think you'd know roughly when you bought it.
I will say beginning of 2020.
Okay. Okay, so then that leads to my question to you.
Yes, sir.
There are reviews, 46 of them. Some of which date back to, let's see if I can scroll here and find them, July. Quite a few from June
I'm sorry,
Of
July
what year?
2020.
of 2022, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a number from June and July of 2022. So that would have been before the tenant.
Correct.
The-
So
I
that
think you
one
said
leads me,
Sarah.
right,
So
That's
that
why
was
you-
you.
that was not me, sir. I understand the question. So that's what lead me not believe she is the one doing it 100%. What I believe the person who is on probably 117, because the advertisement says that unit, which is downstairs. So what I can lead to that, it's even different unit. But that's why I'm not really going after Sarah yet, because I still investigating that.
And I'm unclear where it says in here, at least what we have in the ad, where it says a unit number.
I think it's down somewhere when I reviewed, Cassandra sent me those paper and says that unit down somewhere, it's 117.
That's crazy.
But your testimony is that you don't own F117 or 117, you own 217.
F 217. So you have to specify.
Because it's the
F
building,
is the
F.
whole building, sir.
Okay.
There's tons of buildings there.
All right, I don't think I have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Does the city have anything further to add?
Just, I don't know if the specific advertisement list is the way most times, they only put property identification in their ads, there's a safety.
Yeah, that's what I thought, so.
Calls in it during, putting the report together, just wanted to clarify that, I didn't see it.
That's
It might be, it might be
I
good
think
for-
that would,
it might be good for the board to ask for specificity where in the record the Airbnb indicated a property address.
And so we're
because I
saying,
didn't see it.
we're not seeing it either.
Yeah,
so that will be more, which is a good point, council, is because that means whoever renting that place provided the right unit, which is 117. That's how the citation came up with, and that's what the person who did the reservation found the address.
But
I mean,
but they also found your names,
so that's exactly what I said.
which is even weirder.
Yeah, it's, you can put any name. on
I know, but it was specific to your names.
And Michelle,
Yeah,
yes, and people know there who I am in the community, they know that I work for law enforcement.
I know.
And
I'm ready for.
it's,
okay, so, nothing further from the city?
No.
All right, thank you. So we will close the public testimony period. And now open it up for the board members, to discuss amongst ourselves. Thank you, sir. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Sinclair?
I'm not baffled, but I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, tell us what your thoughts are.
My thoughts are that he's been scammed and we need to dismiss this.
Vice Chair Kane?
if, I mean, fair enough, but again, I think the consequence either way, it's weird because. We can't tell who we're actually putting a ban on.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, or the property, because there's confusion around, I don't know.
The
If the
ban
city
would be-
has the ban is on someone
Would it be on those three owners?
who no longer own it, but
Right.
be that as it may, okay, but then the address is that. It's like muddy, it's all get out.
Ban doesn't apply to the address, it applies to the people.
Mhm.
The fine and the ban apply to
That's correct.
people.
So there's
So
no,
that you can't,
okay.
or you can't,
may I add
Punish,
something first, or?
No.
actually, this is our time.
Okay,
Because you can't punish a new owner
right,
for something a previous owner did. Let me ask Mr. Basili if you have any comments for us for discussion, and then I have a response to you.
No, I don't have any comments right now. I just, this is quite confusing. Because I'm looking at, I'm a real estate agent, so I'm looking online and it matches the profile. So it's,
some error.
so might be an error in here, and I agree, there might be a scam going on. I just, yeah, I agree with you. I feel more comfortable dismissing it than,
What's your question?
So my,
Before the board goes on, because you considered evidence that wasn't presented to the board, suggest you make that available to the board members as well.
Oh, I think it was just, it checked the same, it's the property profile that we
yeah,
all
it's the
have.
same thing. It's
We all
the
have
same
that.
thing that we have.
Okay, as long as the board has that available to.
yeah, that's in our
Yeah.
report. So I understand what you're saying. And at a gut level, I would be inclined to believe you, except for the fact that in attachment, sorry, here, let me find it. I think it's attachment 5 or 6. Sorry. There are 46 reviews
Right,
and a scam. I would, I think it's hard, I'd be hard pressed to believe it's a scam when that many people have reviewed it and commented that Michelle was very helpful.
but we don't know who Michelle is, and 46 scammers, the person did a great job scamming. I mean, and I think, the other, it begs the question, should they have known? And if you don't know this is going on, and you've got a long-term lessee in there,
We do know who
Just keep-
Michelle is, don't we?
we know who Michelle is, but we don't
We
think
do.
that Michelle was not the person who was renting the unit evidently. It's somebody we don't know who that was. It's suspected it was the lessee,
Sarah,
so it was Sarah.
we don't know that though.
So, and I think one of the things incumbent upon the attorney as they take this case forward is to find out,
Of course, but
to
that's.
find out some
That's not
things.
yeah.
So that's why I think that it needs to be dismissed because there are just too many. You know, too many ifs and ands or buts, like Dawn Meredith used to send Monday Night Football, ifs and buts were canned like that, so what a Merry Christmas it would be. And I think that we've got too many ifs.
Totally lost me with that.
Yeah,
but-
I know. So I think we've got too many ifs, ands and buts here.
Alright.
So I move that we dismiss the case.
All right, if anybody any comments?
No.
For discussion? All right, would you like to make a
He
motion?
I
did, he
just-
did, did. You
Make it
wanna-
Pay
officially.
attention.
I heard you, make it officially.
I move that we dismiss the case before us.
And I'll second.
All right, Board Secretary, will you call the roll?
Board Member Sinclair,
Aye.
Board Member Vasili,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kane,
Aye.
and Chair Knessel.
No.
It passes 3-1 to adopt the resolution overturning the decision.
All right, thank you, sir. So the board overturned the fine and the ban. You will get an official notification from the city.
And we'd
Um,
love to know the outcome someday.
I work cross street, so I'll provide you guys with.
All right, before we go into item number 5, you want a couple minute break?
Mhm.
And then we will pick right back up. So it is 5:32. If we could still go back at 5:35 even.
So.
Oh, wait a minute.
You wanna resume? All right, recording has resumed. Next item on the agenda is number 5. It concerns the property at 502 South Calle Santa Rosa. The appeal of a $5,000 fine and administrative decision that Juan Sebastian Nader is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, could you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand that their testimony is under oath?
Yes, we do have signed affidavits from city staff and the representative for the appellant in person. Anyone on Zoom desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury. If you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge the testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay.
Thank you. City staff, can you please present your report?
Yes, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, city staff, residents, joining us this evening. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you this evening is a staff report regarding the property located at 502 South Calle Santa Rosa. It was found on December 7th, 2022. This property was in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 525-040A. Additionally, the elements that led to the investigation and issuance of citation are described in the staff report. Also, the issuing citation, the issuing officer for the citation is here this evening to further testimony. I would like to invite Code Officer Baker to the mic to provide further testimony. Thank you.
Nope, you just turned it off.
Good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff, and members of the public in attendance for tonight's hearing. My name is Jason Whitaker, and I'm a code compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. On Wednesday, December 7th, 2022, while conducting a review of available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com, I came across an advertisement in the Warm Sands neighborhood of Palm Springs titled 4-bedroom desert oasis getaway with pool and gorgeous views, which can be found as attachment number 5 in the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that the entire 4-bedroom home was being offered for up to 9 guests. I was unable to find a city ID number on the advertisement as required for a registered vacation rental property. So I reviewed the photos contained within the ad, and I was able to positively identify the property address as 502 South Calle Santa Rosa. Upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, I confirmed that the property identified did not hold a vacation rental registration certificate. I then sent a message via the Airbnb contact host feature, which can be found in attachment number 6, inquiring about a 2-night stay arriving Friday, January 6, 2023, and departing the following Sunday, January 8, 2023. My message stated, "Hi there, your place looks great for my birthday weekend from LA. I just wanted to know if the pool is heated. If not, it's not a problem, but would be nice to be out in the pool if it is heated. Thanks." The host, Sebastian, responded to my inquiry with the following unique response. "Hello, Wayne. Yes, the pool has the ability to be heated, but there is a one-time fee of $80 and $20 per day after that. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you." Once I received this message, I sent a message to Sebastian thanking him for his response. Then received the following second message from Sebastian. "Anytime, Wayne, let me know if you're still interested and I can waive the pool heater fee. Thanks." I then received an invitation by Sebastian to book a stay for January 6, 2023 through January 8, 2023. During my investigation of the advertisement on Airbnb.com, there was only one guest review of the property that was posted in November of 2022. This particular advertisement is no longer active on Airbnb. As a result of my findings contained within the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as the host invitation to book for a 2-night stay, I found that the property located at 502 South Calle Santa Rosa was in violation of PSMC 5.25.040A, operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental registration certificate. And I issued administrative citation number AB 0434 to the property on title Juan Sebastian Nader. That will conclude what I have to present, so I will hand it back over to Patrick. I'm also available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Anything further?
Just to further add information, I believe this property is considered a triplex and we would not issue vacation rental certificates for a triplex if they did come in and apply prior to the violation.
All right. What does that, what does that
No,
mean?
what does that mean?
So a triplex is usually 3 units. And so from the city's perspective, it's considered like an apartment use, so that has to be a long-term rental. For use, it would not be considered property allowed to do short-term, or not be long-term.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything further from the city? Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll open it up, board members to ask questions of the city and what you just heard. Let me start with you, Mr. Sinclair.
Confusing, nothing here.
All right,
No questions.
Just wanna be super clear about, I wanna be super clear about. Juan Nader is the owner,
Yes,
and the person you were talking to, the name is Sebastian
yes, correct.
on Airbnb, but the owner is listed as Juan Sebastian Nader, is that correct?
Yes,
We don't know though, that these are the same people.
I do not know that.
Okay. Just curious. Gotcha.
I think my question is, so this was found just in the normal course of your researching. There wasn't
Correct.
somebody that turned in, there wasn't a short term, but based on the review, is that? Well, I guess it doesn't matter about the review, they accepted your short term request. All right, I have no other questions, thank you. All right, at this time, we'd like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant will be invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who desire to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If any member of the public chooses to testify, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal for up to 2 additional minutes. Board Secretary, could you please begin the public testimony period?
Yes, we do have the appellant's representative, Tim Kirk, in person, and no one registered to speak.
Sir. So if you can press the button, so the light on your microphone is green, so we can record you, state your name, and then your 10 minutes will begin, please.
Good evening, I'm Tim Kirk, the representative for Juan Sebastian Nader. For clarification purposes, do I have 10 minutes or 3 minutes?
10.
And
Okay, just want to make sure. First of all, thank you all for what you do, your civic duty and taking these positions. They're important in everything that we do. Also appreciate the rules that you guys have set forth. I'm a retired Marine. I just wanted to set a bit of information on who Juan Sebastian Nader is. I believe he submitted a letter for the panel to look at. We follow rules. Sometimes we don't know what the rules are, and so we have to, have to learn some rules the hard way. I'm not here today to tell you that Juan Sebastian Nader did not break your rule. I don't know if I can ask questions of the board or just make comments and maybe they'll be addressed after I'm done. But I'm personally curious, how did Juan Sebastian Nader know about the rule that went into effect? The ordinance, I'm sorry, 2075, which established this vacation rental certificate cap and the processes on November 28th. It's not an argument, it's just a question. That's just a question. Juan Sebastian Nader is a decorated United States Marine Major, infantry officer, deployed several times. He purchased this place from a gentleman who used it as a rental, short-term and long-term both. He was stationed up in 29 Palms, California, where my son happens to be on active duty right now, and I was formerly there. He got involuntary orders, Juan Sebastian Nader, and I'll just say Major Nader, if that's okay. He received involuntary orders, which I think you also received. I can't tell you the exact number on it. The states that he was assigned to go to a very hostile country, the second largest American embassy in the world, Bogota, Colombia. He is on a joint assignment, protecting our way of life here, not just as a Marine, but in his job fighting terrorism and counterterrorism. I believe that when he finally received the letter, which and I don't want to sound ignorant here, maybe somebody at the table has served in the military as well. When you're overseas, the mail takes an extremely long period of time to get to you. And sometimes just even finding out the information, can take a while. But he is over in a joint terrorism task force, and it takes a long time to get the information. But neither here nor there, he had a short-term rental that he put out there, and as soon as he was aware of that, not only was it so long that it had kind of passed that appeals process, he requested, the hearing. And we appreciate that you allowed him to come in and speak. I'm not sure how people who don't live in Palm Springs are supposed to know about rule changes and things like that. And I think that if he was sitting here today, he would tell you, shame on him that he didn't follow the rule to go through and get a certificate to do a short-term rental. But he would say, even in the Marine Corps, we make mistakes at times, and slapping, $5,000 fine on him without a warning and advising him that he's doing something inappropriate might be just a little bit harsh. Regardless, it's his job to do it as the owner. He failed. He immediately ceased operations of the Airbnb, and as the gentleman, the code enforcement officer testified, it's no longer on the Airbnb. As a matter of fact, he put it up for sale. After doing some deep dive investigating into what the gentleman to my right mentioned, that I guess you can't even get a certificate for a triplex, which again, he wasn't aware of when he bought. The previous owner was operating it that way, whether there were requirements back then for certificates or not, and it wasn't passed on to him that he had to do that. I think I'll just end there and just say, you know, it would be nice if the board could consider, you know, what Mr. Nader does and the fact that he really didn't understand, you know, the severity of this Airbnb certificate that he didn't get. And that, you know, a lesson has been learned and he'd like to, you know, move forward and sell the property. And that's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
All right, thank you. We'll open it up to the board to ask questions of Mr. Kirk. Why don't we start with Mr. Basili?
Sure.
We have a microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Standing here.
I can't
Sorry.
read Mr.
So, when Mr. Nader decided to purchase the property, this seems to be always a question that I always ask people, but he's running it as a business. And as a business, we all know that we need a license. So obviously, Mr. Nader never thought to contact the city to find out whether or not what type of obligations he would have running a business. I'm assuming that's what happened.
I'm gonna speak on his behalf. I don't know everything that he did during that time. But with my assumption would be that you're correct, that he didn't reach out. I know that there were a couple long-term tenants in there. And then there was also a short-term tenant in there, and he came in and bought a dilapidated building and put money into it to remodel it right during the time of COVID. And then had put in some longer-term tenants, and I think when he received those involuntary orders in November-ish of this last year, 2021, I apologize, a year and a half ago. That's when he then decided, you know, that he was gonna have to try to do something else when those people left. I think that's very much it.
Okay, thank you. No other questions.
Vice Chair Kane, questions? Mr.
No,
Sinclair?
I'll save until I'm ready to do whatever. And
Okay,
I would say that I have spent 11 years in the reserves, so. I'm
Um,
For your service.
thank you. All right, I'm trying to think of, based on your testimony, he set up the ad, he was renting it. You and he acknowledged that he didn't make the effort to, unfortunately, to find out what the city's requirements are. Correct me if I'm wrong. I guess my question is that fair?
That's fair.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions. All right, does the city have anything they would like to add?
No, nothing further, sure.
All right, thank you. So we will close the public testimony of this period. And we will open it up to discussion amongst the board members. Why don't you go first, Mr. Sinclair?
Well, as we know, we're precluded under the ordinance, and as the major indicated in his appeal, I failed to make the time to pay close attention and research the rules and regulations regarding short-term rentals. And while I know being in the service takes a lot of time, I also know you have a lot of downtime. And I noted on the exchange between the appellant and the code officer that 3 exchanges were done within a half hour. I don't know the time change between here and Columbia, but it's still a pretty short time. So my point would be, we thank him. It's a great thing he's doing, but as he points out, he should have taken time to research the rules and regulations regarding short-term rentals.
Mr. Kane?
No, I think you said it all.
Yeah, I agree.
Excellent.
No questions. No comments.
We have been down this path before. Again, I would reiterate what you said, and we really appreciate his service. But the city is incredibly strict, and those rules are there for a reason. And it is incumbent on each property owner to make the effort to find out about those rules. That ordinance has been in place since 2017. It's not new. And so, like I said, we have been down this road many times with cases. It is the onus, the ordinance is written to put the onus on the owner. The owner has to make the effort to see what, if any, rules there are. Unless there's any more comments from the board, would somebody like to make a motion in a second?
I move we uphold the penalty and the fine.
Second,
I'll second it.
thank you. Board Secretary, could you call the vote?
Board Member Sinclair,
Aye.
Board Member Vasily,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kane,
I,
and Chair Vanessa.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to adopt resolution upholding.
All right, so the board has upheld the fine and the ban. I assume that he will get an official notification for next steps from the city. Thank you for your
Thank you
time.
for your service also.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
All right, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, number 6, and this is concerning the property at 1351 East Gem Circle. It is an appeal of the $5,000 administrative fine and the decision that William R. Daniels is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, could you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand their testimony is under oath?
We do have signed affidavits from city staff, and appellant is also in person. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Here we go.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask for the city's staff report.
Yes, Chair, one moment, that's my packet. Loans.
Actually, and I can take that moment and without- so, stays with me.
Okay.
Just-
should I?
Just to be transparent, yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to proceed.
All right, thank you.
Do it, but, good evening, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, city staff, citizens joining us this evening. My name is Patrick Clifford with, the Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. And before you this evening is a staff report, relating to the property located at 1351 East Gem Circle here in Palm Springs. Some background first regarding this property. On November 17th, 2022, the Department of Special Program Compliance did receive an application for a vacation rental certificate for the property at 1351 East Gem Circle. Included in your staff report is a screenshot of the application that was received. Specifically, section C, we provided the signature and dates, where the application states that the DSPC, which is the Department of Special Program Compliance, is currently processing time is approximately 90 days from the day we receive your completed application. You'll be contacted by the office, who will conduct us annual safety inspection of the vacation rental property. Additionally, you are not authorized to advertise or otherwise operate as a vacation rental until you receive specific written authorization from the DSPC. Administrative fines and penalties will apply. And that the application is included as attachment 5 in your staff report. Also, on December 19th, 2022, a safety inspection was conducted at the property. The inspection passed. And at that time, the code officer does send a confirmation of the past safety inspection, and also includes additional information related to the process of the vacation rental certificate, which is also included as a screenshot in your staff report, specifically discussing that this does not guarantee an issuance of a permit. It does not grant you permission to advertise, operate, or rent your property for short term. Furthermore, So this property at 1351 East Gem Circle was found to be in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25040A on January 22nd, 2023. The elements that led to the citation issuance are included in the staff report as items 1, 2, 3, 4. Additionally, the code officer that issued the citation and did the investigation is here this evening. And I would invite the code officer to provide further testimony on what led to the investigation and issuance of the citation. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff, and members of the public that are with us for tonight's hearing. My name is Jacob Gonzalez. I'm the code officer for the city of Palm Springs. On January 22nd, 2023, while reviewing available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com, I came across an advertisement in the North Vista neighborhood titled Palm Springs Gem Circle, which can be found as attachment 6 in the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that the entire 3-bedroom home was being offered for up to 6 guests with minimum night stay of 3 nights. I could not find the city ID listed as required for the registered vacation rental property. So I reviewed the photos contained within the ad and positively identified the property as 1351 East Gem Circle. Upon review of the city's vacation rental records, I confirmed that the property identified did not hold a vacation rental certificate. I then sent the message via Airbnb contact post feature, inquiring about a week-long stay in February. The message was, "Hello, I was looking to book a week in February with my wife. Didn't see anything concerning small dogs on the posting. Do you have any restrictions on Chihuahuas? Not a deal breaker if not." The host, Bill, responded to my inquiry with the following unique response: "No worries, no restrictions on dogs." It subsequently sent me an invitation to book my requested short-term stay of 5 nights, March 13th, Monday to March 18th, Saturday. This exchange is included in the staff report as attachment number 7. As a result of my findings contained within the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as the invitation to book the requested 5-night stay, I found the property located at 1351 East Gem Circle in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25040A, operating a vacation rental without a rental registration certificate and issued site AB 0462 to the property owner on title William Daniels. So again, to reiterate the specific elements which resulted in the finding of the property was in violation was the property was advertised on Airbnb.com as being able to book the entire home for a minimum of 3 nights, which can be found on page 33 of the staff report as a part of the attachment 6, without a vacation rental registration certificate. The host, Bill, interacted with me via the contact post feature and displayed clear intent to accept and facilitate my request to book a 5-night stay by sending the invitation to book. Both of these facts fit within the what was established as the part of the administrative regulation dated 7 of 2017, which defined the operation of the vacation rental as used in Palm Springs Municipal Code 525, which includes but is not limited to 1 or more of the following: advertisement of the property means on any web-based advertising hosting platform, print media, bulletin, signage, radio, and television, or any other medium for the purpose of promoting interest, testing the market for, or soliciting occupancy of the property for the period of the 28 consecutive days or less. As an owner, agent, or other representative of the owner interacts with another party, whether directly or indirectly through the personal or digital electronic contact, with the intent to provide availability of the property for occupancy of 28 days or less, or to complete a rental and or reservation of the property for the future occupancy of 28 days or less. And that'll conclude what I have to present. I'll turn this back over to Patrick and we'll have questions with that.
All right, thank you. So this time will be set aside for the board members to ask questions to the city.
No questions.
Mr. Vasily,
No questions.
Vice Chair Kane.
Nothing.
I was going to ask a question about the reviews. The staff report shows there are 119, but it does say that it's from other properties for this host. So
No reviews. on
we don't
this.
see any reviews for this property.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I have no other questions. Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll open up the appeal hearing. The appellant will be invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any member of the public who desires to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If any member of the public testifies, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal for up to 2 additional minutes. Board Secretary, could you please begin the public testimony period?
Yes, we have no registered speaker in the appellant's in person.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, I'm William Tenels. I own the property at Gem location. I purchased it in October to use as a short-term rental. I applied for the rental license. At that time, I waited till the moratorium to come to an end. Like it was already stated, it was checked, everything was deemed fine. Even before in October, I had it listed on Airbnb, but it's in something called snooze, where you cannot get to it. You cannot look at it, you cannot book it. On what would be January 16th, it came off of snooze, unbeknownst to me because I started getting questions on it. So within a week, I canceled it. There's been no bookings on it. I have never rented it up to this date. I understand the rules. I did not understand that I could not list it. I understand I could not rent it. I had no intent to rent this property until I had a license. I applied for the license. I was just waiting for it. I noticed there is another ordinance that's less severe that has, if you rent or list a property, there's an ordinance that's $200 or $2,500 fine and a 6-month moratorium on it for just listing it. I feel that would be more pertinent. If you guys want to refile it, I would be fine with that because I did list it. As for operating a rental property, I've never operated a rental property in Palm Springs. This was never rented by anybody, and nor was the intent to rent it prior to having a license. As me checking in, asking Patrick, when will the license come due? Also, I've never received a response after the check. And I called him and asked how long it would take, but I never got any email of saying, hey, this can't be listed or anything like that. I understand it can't be rented, but listing is a different story. I understand my lack of knowledge on it. That's my fault. That's all I gotta say.
All right, thank you. Let's open it up to questions for the appellant. Why don't we start with Mr. Basili?
So, I'm looking at an inspection report that says, that has notes in it. So at the time the inspection was done, did you sign off on anything?
I don't think I signed anything. He just came in and checked it, and they took the paper with him.
Okay,
Matter of fact, I don't have a copy of the paper even.
okay, no other questions.
Vice Chair King?
Is that correct, Patrick? Does the person is being inspected get a copy of anything? Did we already go through this?
The email that is gonna be sent from the code officer, the inspection is gonna be whoever the contact was provided.
It's gonna be in an email form.
Correct, yeah.
It's not gonna be at the time they were, okay.
Yeah.
And in that email is what we've got in our report, which is that notification.
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
That's the verbiage from the email that would have been,
okay,
or whether who the contact was, I don't have that information as far as what email address that pass report went to.
but the appellant has acknowledged he's been the person engaged in this process, correct, sir? Have you been the only one engaged in this
Yes.
application
Yes.
process? So
Well, me,
it would have been your email.
it would have been in my email. I didn't receive it. All I received was the violation.
By email
Yeah,
or letter?
well, I got a letter and but it had nothing having to do with the inspection.
I understand. Okay,
But you did get it, I'm sorry, can I just?
yeah,
So you did get an email with, in addition to the letter regarding the violation.
No, I got the letter. I got a formalized letter.
What did you receive via email? I thought you just said you received something
No.
via email.
What I got. Was this a citation?
But didn't you just say that you also received it via email?
I'm not sure if I got it via email. Citation letter, I'm not sure.
Okay,
All right,
And they sent it 3 times in the mail, so
but on the application that you filled out, it stated that you cannot advertise.
I didn't notice that. I assume that means I cannot rent it. No, I was not going to rent it. I mean, I wouldn't apply for a license and do that, you know. I mean, it'd been a waste of our time here, a waste of my time.
Okay, thank you.
anything else, Vice Chair Kane?
Uh-uh.
Mr. Sinclair?
The compliance officer said that he made the reservation and you replied to him. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I said it would be available. Yeah. I was not gonna go through with it. I was assuming that I would have the license by that time. If not, I would have just canceled the reservation.
Actually, my question was gonna be right in line with that is, you know, if you snoozed it. Fine. But, and if you didn't know it came off a snooze, when you got a request. Knowing that you shouldn't rent it, why would you have accepted that as opposed to
Just to see
saying,
what the market was. I mean, I wasn't gonna rent it. I just want to see what the market is, what the questions would be.
and what we have in front of us is part of your application where you signed a piece of paper that states, you are not authorized to advertise or otherwise operate as a vacation rental unit until you receive specific written authorization. Administrative fines and penalties will apply. That then shortly under that, it's redacted. I assume that's your signature.
I would assume that.
From November 10th, 2022. I assume that's when you actually did the application.
That's going to operate a vacation rental. Now I listed it, which is a less penalty. No, I agree.
Actually, well, so what you're
I saw it
talking
in the
about
ordinance.
is a totally separate, the city has various fines for different violations. The violation here is operating without a permit. And that is a very specific fine and penalty. A different fine and penalty applies to different.
I
That is not
understand
what we're
something
talking
was
about.
executed. There was nothing executed.
Patrick, if you could, so that I'm not testifying, if you could explain what the ordinance says relative to the advertising and operating.
Yes, they have to. So that section is 5.25.090D, which states that any person who advertises a vacation rental, without including the vacation rental certificate, any advertisements for such vacation rental or operates a vacation rental without a contract. Or without providing the city with a summary or abstract of such a contract prior to applicable occupancy. Or without timely tendering for monthly payments of transient occupancy tax, so pay the fine in the amount of $2,500, and the owner's vacation rental registration certificate shall be suspended for 6 months for the first offense. So that ordinance is related to current registrants holders and the failure to list their advertising or their certificate ID under advertisement can lead to those violations as well as the contract summaries that's mentioned and the failure to pay taxes. So it's related to current certificate.
So it is fair to say that that does not apply here because this is not a current permit holder.
That's correct. Is the second, that section is directing us to suspend a vacation rental certificate. And there would be no vacation rental certificate to suspend.
All right, thank you. All right, I have no further questions. Nothing, all right, thank you, sir. Does the city have any rebuttal?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you. All right, so we will close the public testimony portion. And then this time is set aside for the board to discuss amongst ourselves what we have just heard. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Sinclair?
My only thing that I would say is that Ellen made a wrong assumption. And that's what resulted in this.
Mr. Vasily?
We've been down this road before. And it's unfortunate. I agree, made the wrong assumption. And it's gonna cost it.
I have a question for Patrick around if his inspection was in December of 2022, did it stall out because of this hearing?
I'm trying to, I have to pull and see when their estimated date was. It was 90 days, so I would. There was a moratorium involved in there as well too, so most likely when we do receive. Application, if there's a citation that is received, then we would put that process. forward.
Right.
So,
Would that may be the case in this situation,
of why it wasn't issued,
or it might be the moratorium?
I would say I have to look at the date when we had it forecasted to issue, because again, we set like a 90-day window depending
Right,
on volume, so.
right,
From that time period, you know, it could have been the moratorium, the delay stuff, but it also could have been the citation that was issued, because when we go back to when the citation was.
now when was the citation issued?
Citation was issued February, the violation was found on January 22nd, 2023, the citation was issued February 1st, so. It's close, it could have been right around the time that the permit may have been issued if all things were compliant. If I, you know, looking at that date, I would be leading more to that, the process was put on hold because of violations. But I have to confirm by looking at the dates, but it would be postponed because of waiting the outcome of the appeal.
Got it. Okay. That's it.
So I guess my thing is, we look at the applications in front of us, he signed the page that just above it states. You cannot advertise, you cannot operate. So this seems pretty cut and dry to me, based on our experience, so. That's all I've got. At this point, if somebody would like to make a motion and a second.
Make a motion to uphold the fine and the violation.
Thank you. Second,
Second,
Board Secretary, could you please call the vote?
Board Member Basile,
Aye.
Board Member Sinclair,
aye.
Vice Chair King,
Aye.
Chair Panessa.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 to adopt resolution upholding the administrative decision.
All right, he left the room, but that motion or the fine and ban are upheld. All right, we will move on to the next case. Thank you, everybody, for your time and effort on this one. Item number 7 on the agenda concerns the property at 505 South Farrell Drive, Unit B14. Is an appeal of the $5,000 fine and an administrative decision that Intisar Sadoun, I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly, and Basim Mahadeen is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, could you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand that their testimony is under oath?
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and appellant who's in person. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury. If you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Move again.
Thank you. City staff, could you present your report, please?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, city staff, residents on the call with us and doing this evening. My name is Patrick Bricker with the Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you this evening is a report relating to property located at 505 South Farrell Drive, Unit B14. It was found that on February 5th, 2023, that the property located at 505 South Farrell Drive, Unit B14 was in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25.040. The elements that led to the citation issue are included in the staff report. Additionally, the code officer that investigated and did issue the citation is here this evening to provide further testimony, and I would invite Officer Whitaker to the stand to further provide testimony.
Good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff, and members of the public present for this evening's hearing. My name is Jason Whitaker, and I'm a code compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. On Sunday, March 5th, 2023, while conducting a review of available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com, I came across an advertisement in the Sonora Sunrise neighborhood of Palm Springs titled "Fully Renovated 2-Bedroom Condo with Pool, Spa, Yoga," which can be found in as attachment 5 in the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that the entire 2-bedroom condo was being offered for short-term stays for up to 4 guests. I was unable to find a city ID number on the advertisement as required for a registered vacation rental property, so I reviewed the photos contained within the ad and I was able to positively identify the property address as 505 South Farrell Drive, Unit B14. Upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, I confirmed that the property identified did not hold a vacation rental registration certificate. I then sent a message via the Airbnb contact host feature, which can be found in attachment number 6, inquiring about a 7-night stay arriving Wednesday, April 5th, 2023, and departing the following Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. My message stated, "Hi there, looking to book for a birthday getaway weekend or birthday getaway week to Palm Springs from April 5th through April 12th, 2023. And I just wanted to see if the pool and or spa are heated. Also, does the kitchen have pots and pans in case we decide to stay in and cook a day or two? Thanks." The host, Dina, replied to my inquiry with the following unique response. "Hi Wayne, thank you for your message. The pool is not heated, but the jacuzzi, is heated and steams up nicely in the evenings. Yes, the kitchen is fully stocked with great quality pots and pans and everything you need. We also have a barbecue on the second floor, second balcony, stocked with all barbecue utensils and tools. Please let me know if there's anything else you would like to know." Subsequently, after receiving this message from the host, Dina, I was sent an invitation to book for the requested dates of April 5th through April 12th of 2023. As a result of my findings contained within the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as previous guest reviews that had mentioned short-term stays, I found that the property located at 505 South Farrell Drive, Unit B14 was in violation of PSMC 5.25.040A, operating a vacation rental without a registration certificate, and issued administrative citation number AB 0490 to the property owner on title, Intisar Sadoun and Basim Mudin. That will conclude all I have to present. I'll pass it over to Patrick, and I'm available to answer any questions.
And I have nothing further to provide, Chair.
All right, thank you. So we'll open it up to questions. The city staff, why don't we start with Vice Chair King?
Nope,
Mr.
sorry.
Phillip?
No questions.
No questions.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. And so this was just found in your normal searching?
Correct.
Okay. And again, I'll ask, at this, I assume since there's a unit number, this is a complex.
Yes, it is.
And do we know if this complex even allows short-term rentals?
I believe so, Chair. I did pull up on the other address located at 505 South Farrell Drive. You do see that in his restrooms.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. Forgot, I had it right from. In your report on. Appendix 4, page 8, it lists 34 reviews. Is that for this property?
I don't have the reviews with me. I might defer that to Patrick.
So yes, it appears that this 34 reviews are specifically for this advertisement. Under the advertisement where it starts, it mentions the 4.94 star 34 reviews. That's specific to this advertisement, as there's a drop down that you can see all 34 reviews to this property if we had it online.
Right.
Additionally, if a host has other reviews for other properties, it would list more down where the segment says hosted by. And then that is where we see an increase of different reviews from other properties. So for example, right now it's 34 reviews, but it could say 120 if they had different properties. But seeing that above in the actual review section for this advertisement showing 34 and the ability to drop down, would say that these 34 reviews are related to this specific property.
Now, were there any transient occupancy taxes paid by this unit on all those rentals?
We would not have a way to collect the tax as there's no tax permit.
There's no permit. Okay. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. Anything further from the city?
Nothing further, Chairman.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, I'd like to open up the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any member of the public who desires to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If any member of the public testifies, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal for up to 2 additional minutes. Board Secretary, could you please begin the public testimony period?
We do have a signed affidavit from the appellant in person and the registered speakers.
Thank you. If you could press the button on your microphone so the light is green, and then state your name and your 10 minutes will begin.
Good evening. Thank you for your time today. My name is Dina Rita. I was the one who was hosting on behalf of Intisar Sadoun and Bassem Muhiddin. So the property that they have here, this is a husband and wife who is looking to retire, and their child fell very, very, very ill, and they spent their retirement savings and everything they had on the healthcare. Just before COVID, the husband lost his job. The whole company was laid off, the whole department. So they sold their home and bought this condo to downsize to move into. And while there, they learned about Airbnb, short-term rentals in Palm Springs, and decided that this would be a really good way for them to pay for their child's healthcare. They know nothing about Airbnb, so they asked me take care of it for them. And so, pardon me, I have very clear mouth.
That's right.
So I also know nothing about Airbnb. So I called Airbnb myself and spoke to them, told them I know nothing, please take me through the process. And they said, it's very easy, just go through step by step. I went through step by step, I put all the pictures up, put the description, did everything it said. And then I called Airbnb back, said, am I missing anything? Is everything up? And they said, no, everything is perfect. Now you can go live. So we went live, and that is my fault. I made a critical error. I had no idea how to register with the city. It was nowhere in the steps. Nobody told me Airbnb. Doesn't matter. That's my fault. I should have done that work, and I didn't. So they listed the Airbnb, and I helped them host it and answer questions for guests, and that's how they paid for their child's health care. It wasn't until the taxes came in that we realized something was wrong. So I called Airbnb and I said, this doesn't make sense. Something's wrong. What's going on? And we went back and forth until they explained to me, well, you didn't register with the city. And I said, what does that mean? At no point did that come up. I had no idea. I wasn't in the process. I didn't know. And they said, yes, that's part of it. And that's, you have to research your city. And they're right. I should have researched my city, and I didn't. So I called the owners, and they called an accountant, and they went through and tried to figure out how to make this make sure the taxes are paid. And then we called back to Airbnb to try and figure out what to do to remedy the issue, to register with the city, to make sure the taxes are paid. And that's when the letter came in. So as soon as the letter came in, we immediately ceased operations. We canceled any and all bookings. We unlisted the property, and yeah, it's been sitting there since, doing absolutely no business. We thought these are honest, good people, and they don't break rules, and neither do I. This was a legitimately honest mistake. But ignorance of the law is not an actual defense, so I don't want to use that as a thing, but that was the case. So I do understand that I made a critical error, and I do accept responsibility. And if you guys do decide to ban, you are absolutely in the right to do that. We broke the rules. We shouldn't have. We should have done I should have done my due diligence and made sure. The thing that I'm asking you about is the $5,000 fine is going to absolutely devastate this family with the medical issues they have with their daughter, and they spent their retirement, sold every asset. They have no house. They sold their cars. They have nothing left to pay for their kids' health care. And I'm the one who put them in that position. And if I myself didn't have my own healthcare issues that I have to deal with, I would pay the fine like that. So what I'm asking you is if it's possible for you to dismiss the fine. And if it's not possible for you to dismiss the fine, I understand that it's strict, there's rules, we have to follow it. Perhaps I could work the fine off for the city. Perhaps I could offer my services. I teach meditation and I teach breath work and I teach these kind of health things, and I would love to offer these services to the city officials, you guys, police, firefighters, the school board. It would be an honor to do that. So that I could take responsibility for not doing the due diligence that this family entrusted me with. I can't, he has heart condition, they're not okay, I don't wanna put them through that, and I wanna take responsibility for not doing it properly. So if there's anything I can do to pay it to the city through work, please do consider that. I would really very much appreciate it. I understand that I broke a rule here and I didn't do it properly. I completely take responsibility for it.
Anything further? You still have time.
I think that's all of it.
All right, thank you. All right, so we will, if you're done, we will open it up to questions for the appellant. And if you don't mind, board members, I would like to ask first. So you said you noticed the tax revenue coming in, and that's what flagged that there was some sort of an issue. How did you know what to charge for tax? Because that's a separate
Yes.
line on Airbnb.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know. I had no idea. When the tax came in,
Are you talking about tax revenue?
yeah, from the Airbnb, they send you at the end of the tax season. They send you.
That's.
Are you
for-
asking, are you saying you got what is it, a 1099?
Yeah, like for your own.
You got a
personal
tax
taxes.
form.
Yeah, from Airbnb themselves.
But you got a
Right.
tax form, not tax revenue. That's what I'm trying to
What's the
understand.
difference?
Well, so if you have an ad on Airbnb,
Yes.
you set it up and you charge the guest or whoever is renting it whatever the city's tax is.
Yes.
And then Airbnb gives you that revenue so that you can then in turn remit it to the
Right.
city.
That's right.
And that's what I was understanding you were saying, but what you're saying is at the end of the year, you got actually a tax form from
The
Airbnb.
first.
So you were getting revenue.
Like they showed that the guests that came were not charged taxes.
Okay,
That's what flagged it for me. And I thought, why weren't they charged taxes? Isn't that how it works? I thought that was part of the service fee that Airbnb takes. And they said, no, that's completely separate and it happens when you register with the city. And I asked them, why wasn't I informed that I was supposed to register from the city? Please take me through the process. And they took me through the process and it was like, go to your settings, go scroll down, go here, press here, go. It was like 27 steps. It was really deep in there. There was no way I could have found that without being told. So that's when we called the accountant and explained what happened. And the accountant and Airbnb, we went back and forth and the Airbnb has approved us for the taxes for that. So that the taxes could be paid towards the city. Again, I don't know I don't know how it works. But I am still in dialogue with the accountant as well as Airbnb to figure out how we can remedy that situation.
and when you are talking about the accountant, that's the appellant's accountant,
Yes, the owners of.
the owners,
Yeah.
okay, that is their accountant.
Yeah, I
Okay.
told them something's wrong. They hired an accountant to help us figure out how to get through it.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I understand.
Yes.
So what flagged it for you is that you were not receiving tax revenue. Not that you were receiving it. Am I understanding what you said?
Yes, so it's supposed to be that the client, the people who come to the condo are supposed to pay taxes and it said 0. And
Okay.
that's what flagged it for me.
Okay,
I was like, why is it 0?
so then let me ask my original question a different
Yes.
way. How did you know that the guests staying in the property should pay taxes?
When I saw that it said 0. Because when the Airbnb takes service fees, I assumed that included on taxes. But when the tax form came in and it showed no taxes were taken from guests, that's when I called them and I said, why?
Okay,
And they said you were supposed to register with the city, and I said, well, I wasn't. Nobody informed me about that. Since then, I've done my research and I realized how absolutely absurd it is that I hadn't done that. I understand there's a lot of rules with Airbnb. And that's why I take full responsibility, like full
Okay.
responsibility. That was stupid
okay.
for me.
Before I turn it over to my fellow board members, just so you were clear, we do not have the ability to parse and or make arrangements, if you will, for the fines that the city has spelled out. That is way beyond, it is not in our purview. So we are not able to entertain that
Yeah.
at all. Okay, so questions for the appellant?
None.
Mr.
No
Basile?
questions.
Vice Chair Kane. All right, thank you. So does the city have any rebuttal?
No rebuttal, just to clarify, our citation process is better does work on payment plans, in case just.
Payment plan, that's what you said, okay, as opposed to in kind.
All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you. We'll close the public testimony period at this point. And now this time will be set aside for the board to discuss what we have heard from the two sides. Why don't we start with Mr. Basile for discussion?
It's pretty clear, I think. We heard everything and nothing more to say.
Yeah, I think these are the stories we hear, right? They're wide and varied. We still are in the same position where we started from, so I don't think there's any room here.
I agree.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think we've all heard. They are acknowledging they didn't do their due diligence and set up a vacation rental, and frankly, it looks like rented it quite a bit. Without a permit and the subsequent taxes. All right, would somebody like to make a motion and a second?
It's my turn, I'll move that we uphold the ban and the fine, and
Thank you. All right, second, board secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Vice Chair King,
aye.
Board Member Sinclair, Board Member Basile,
Aye.
and Chair Vanessa.
Aye.
Carries 4-0 to adopt resolution upholding.
All right, thank you, everyone, for
So-
your time and effort. You will get a official notification. And like was said, they will work with them.
See what's there
On
and
the-
over,
on that
because you
one.
never know until you ask. And I think it's a fair thing to ask about
Yeah,
all the things.
Thank
that
you
come
very
from the city where there was all kinds of
Yeah.
options, so you never know.
thank you very much. And I want to make sure it comes to me and not to them. I don't want them to know about it.
That unfortunately, we can't
I
control.
don't know how
So
to do that.
we can't control. The way the ordinance is written is it goes to the owner.
Okay,
So we unfortunately cannot
I
control it.
understand.
So
okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for your.
Thank
time.
you.
thank you for your effort and time.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on. Item number 8, there are no minutes to approve, so we're not doing that. Item number 9, this portion of the meeting is set aside for general comments, announcements, requests of staff and or other issues of concern from members of the Administrative Appeals Board. Does anyone on the board have any requests of staff, any comments? Anything you'd like to
Just
point?
a quick comment. So
How
we,
about on there?
thank you. I don't seem to like the microphone, but excuse me.
We'd like to do that.
It does. So, so I'm clear. I thought we had in discussion, I know it hasn't gone anywhere at this point, but we had talked about the issue about Airbnb and what type of responsibility. I think we also talked about management companies as well, and where their responsibility lies if they have a client who hires them and they fail to do the necessary due diligence. And so I thought we talked about this quite a while ago, maybe.
We did.
14 months ago, and so nothing came of it so far.
The city council would have to make changes, probably with council. And my understanding is that has not been done. So they have not made any changes to the ordinance currently. Other than the changes that were made the end of last year.
Okay,
And it is a problem. We get too many cases where it's Airbnb's fault or the management company's fault. And it's just criminal.
The only thing I would add to that is we get cases where people blame Airbnb.
sure.
Whether or not that's the case is always, I think, subject to, or subjective.
And I, sorry, I just have to say, like, Airbnb as the platform is gonna go to that typical. We're just the platform, the city's blah, 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 but I think the management company issue is real. I think it's legitimate. I think we've seen people get taken advantage of, particularly people who don't speak English as a first language. And lose total control of their homes, and there doesn't seem to be a consequence, and I think that's a problem,
Yeah, so it's
like
like,
legitimately a problem.
it's like last month, one of the, there was a
Exactly.
group from San Diego said, oh yeah, we know the Palm Springs rules. Well, they didn't,
Of course,
and they
so,
screwed these
but
people.
they have no incentive to not
Right.
continue to do this.
That's right.
Let alone this weird thing we heard today about who's listing, is it really? So.
So we have made a recommendation.
I know.
And it is, it is at the discretion, I guess, of the city council as to whether or not they choose to either accept that recommendation, put it into the ordinance or choose not to.
And like the advocacy for our group is ourselves,
Mhm.
or is the advocacy for our group, not necessarily the clerk, but is it the agency that we I don't know, we oversee, but whatever does that make sense?
I think in answer to your question, the ordinance provides the board with the authority to make recommendations and provide input to
Yes, we
city
do.
council. So if you want to agendize this discussion for a future board meeting, then staff can do that, and then we can bring forward whatever you.
We
have
would
in
do
front of
that
you.
via this body,
Correct.
and then we don't know how to ferry to council. This is where we end up
I thought we did that.
I
losing.
think we have, and we
We
would,
have done.
my understanding is we would bury it to the council through city clerk's office.
Okay.
And then how do we follow up? Through the clerk's office.
I would imagine in a subsequent meeting here, we agendize asking for feedback on that recommendation.
So as the chair, would he put together something formally in writing at requesting
Resurrected.
it going to
Um,
council? How does that?
so,
Okay.
and correct me if I'm wrong, last time we did this, we took two members of the board, we made a subcommittee, which is kind of what the city does. The two of us, it was myself and Mr. Hedrick, who's no longer on the board. We came up with a series of recommendations. We then presented it to the board. We voted on if we wanted to submit that to the city council. It was voted that we would. Now, that was probably 3 to pushing 4 years ago. I guess we could, I assume, go through those same steps again.
But, and I guess what I'm saying is then you give it to the clerk and it goes to a black hole of some kind.
Well, in fairness to the city clerk, I think last time the city was involved in that lawsuit and they could make no changes anyway. It would have been detrimental to the city to make
Okay,
changes to the ordinance
So then-
because of that. So it's probably on us to resurrect it.
let's resurrect it
So
Yeah.
let's put on the agenda for next time.
because
Sandra, help me here. Do we need to, can we, since it's not on the posted agenda for today, can we choose a subcommittee to do that today, or do we need to have that on the agenda for next time?
I'd recommend you do it at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And can we find the original?
I will look and see if I have it. I would hope I do, but I don't know for sure, but I kind of remember the discussions he and I had.
Okay.
It sounds like special program staff would have that, so.
can you let them,
Yeah, I'll look and.
let's not reinvent the wheel.
Had a copy of it.
Okay, so then we'll, at next meeting, we will have this discussion about creating a subcommittee. Whoever those two people are, will then meet with either, if Patrick has that form or if I do, they can use that as a starting basis. And then they will come back to this board with their recommendation. We will say, yeah, we love that. Let's present it. And then that will.
Well, I'm gonna push on what presentation means. Because I'm not clear that, right, it's giving it to the clerk, and shrugging it off, that's not the end of it. Right?
Sounds like it is.
It's not.
Well, again,
It's
in
not.
fairness,
It's here.
in fairness, though, they could do nothing while that lawsuit is going on. So,
Absolutely, I got it.
and that went on for years.
It's over now, yeah?
Yeah. So, all right, anything else?
Nope.
From the board to staff? All right, let's move on. Next item is time set aside for the city attorney to update the board on important matters initiated by staff or previously requested by the board.
Good evening, good to see all of you again, thanks for having me. The one item I think that you're waiting on, from the city attorney's office is that memo, so I, will get that to you before the next meeting, so you have a chance to look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need to agendize
We
discussion on that?
Probably do.
If you think you'll want to talk about it, we'll work with the city.
We
clerk's
wanna
office
talk
to
about
make sure-
We always talk about everything.
It's your evening.
Let's actually put both of those on the agenda, so formally it's on there. And then last is city clerk, any updates for us?
How's the load?
We're all the way booked out until August. We have 2 cases in August already.
7 apiece, how many?
5
So we did
cases.
5 today, so 5. So will we continue meeting at 4:30?
You guys are
Until we clear the backlog.
busting it out, man.
All right,
Slow down.
all right. Next meeting is June 28th at 4:30. If there's nothing further. It is, what time is it? It is 6:45 and we are adjourned unless anyone objects.